Ever wish your backyard felt like a fairy tale? Today we are going to do 5 Pinterest-worthy DIYs together to turn your space into a whimsical fairy garden. So get cozy, grab a cup of tea, and let's get crafting. A few months ago, we did 5 crafts together to turn my office into a whimsical fairy forest. And today we're going to do the same thing, but outside in the garden. But for this first project, we have to go get some supplies from our local garden center. Now, all the other DIYs I'm going to share with you in this video were under $10 and mostly from Dollar Tree or Walmart, but this first one, I definitely went a little bit over budget buying all of these plants. But you'll see, it's worth it in the end. So while my wife works on uppotting, I figured I would take you through materials really fast. So we got a couple different plants. I think we got a calla lily, which will do some pretty little yellow, or actually white blooms with a yellow center. We have this grass, which is what she's currently uppotting. And then we also have this creeping Jenny, which all of these guys love moisture and can actually be submerged in the pond. So that's why we went with those. I think that was about $50 at the garden center. We also got some all-purpose sand here from Lowe's. This was like $6 for the bag, which we will definitely have leftovers. And then the last expense was the pot, and we found one that didn't have drainage because obviously if it's a pond, it has to hold in the water, and this was $15. So our grand total for this project, I believe, was $90 when I did the math. Oh, and I also have a little solar fountain coming from Amazon, which was $20, so that's how we ended up getting to $90. But for $100, I think we're doing pretty good. What do you think?
Definitely.
You have no idea what you're doing, just walking around with handfuls of dirt.
Yep.
Now for actually assembling, it was super easy. We just put a couple inches of sand in the bottom, put some rocks so that way the plants would be at the correct level. That is apparently very important, so definitely look at the back of your plant tags and it'll tell you how deep to submerge them in water. Then we grabbed some rocks from underneath our deck to put on top and hopefully keep some of the dirt in as the water began to rise. And then we just filled it up with our hose and added some cute little fairy decorations that I got from Dollar Tree, which you will definitely see me using again later in this video. But really important for your patio pond, make sure to have some sticks or a little ladder like this for the frogs and animals and pollinators to be able to get out of it if they happen to fall in. Speaking of pollinators, if this project just looked like way too much effort and money, tomorrow we are going to make a pollinator bath for just $5 with stuff you can find at any Dollar Tree. And we are off to every crafter's favorite place in the world. I'm not gonna lie though, I definitely got distracted by the gardening section and picked up some seeds and these cute little fairy houses, but it's fine, we're gonna use them later in the video for another DIY. But for today's project, our pollinator bath, you need to head to the candle section, the dishware section, and the crafting section. You're only gonna need 4 items, so it is truly under $5. Another day, another cute dress, and another garden craft. We are making a little pollinator bath. The birds and the bees are really gonna appreciate this one because it is super duper hot today. So all you need to grab is one of these candle holders for $1.25, a bowl to sit on top of it, and then some of these blue beads, which are going to be the landing pad for the little bees and the butterflies, so that way they don't drown. And then the last thing I have here is just some super glue to hold it all together. You could also use E600, E6000, whatever it's called, silicone, any heavy duty glue other than hot glue, because apparently that does not do well with temperature changes. So it's super simple. Like I said, we're going to glue this to that, wait a couple minutes for it to harden, and then put water in it, and we are done. We are done. I'm gonna go pop this out in the middle of the garden where we see all of the butterflies and the bees. And like I said, it is hot today, like 90 degrees here in Vermont. So they will very much appreciate this little treat. Also, while we were out here, I had to share that the solar fountain I ordered finally came in the mail, and it is adding the perfect little magical touch to this patio pond. Just listen to it for a second. Also, this one that I ordered does like a little light show at night, so I'll put a clip in and show you what that looks like here. This little fountain was the perfect touch to the patio pond. I love listening to the water, and seeing the lights at night just makes this space feel so magical. But if you don't have a pond or bird bath, you could also get these solar lights that you can clip into your tree, on a fence, literally anywhere. They are just so beautiful, and it makes me feel like we have like giant fireflies up in our trees all the time. Now for this next craft, you might already have everything you need on hand and be able to recycle and forage it, but I needed a couple things from handy dandy Walmart to make this giant mushroom. I will say though, it still was under $10 despite having to buy spray paint, and I was able to find everything else either in my house or in my backyard. So for our mushroom DIY, I'm going to be using this dinner bowl, cereal bowl, whatever it is from Walmart. It was only 25 cents, so super good deal. I'm going to spray paint it red, add some little white dots to make our mushroom top, and then I'm going to go forage for wood to make the stem, trunk, I don't know, what do you call the base of a mushroom? Anyways, I'm going to use some random wood we have from our property. My wife has a bunch of it stored in our back shed to use for fire pits, but I'm going to borrow a couple pieces and turn them into mushrooms instead. While we are back here, say hello to one of our vegetable gardens. My wife and I built these beds in the arch a couple years ago, and I'll link that YouTube video somewhere here if you want to make an actual garden and not just a fairy garden. But as you can see, we have some watermelon growing, butternut squash, which are a little bit wilty. I just watered them. They'll pop up any second now. Some bell peppers over here. I did have a ton of onions. Rabbits came through and ate those, which was rude. And then some zucchini growing over here. And I'll give you a quick tour of our other garden space towards the front of the yard as well. And over here is what I call my kitchen garden, because I grow a bunch of small things that I would harvest every single day for our dinners, such as green beans, picnic peppers, cherry tomatoes, cucumbers, carrots, all that kind of stuff. We just talk about this arch here. The tomatoes are almost touching, and so is this cucumber all the way in the back. Everything is looking so happy and healthy. I cannot wait for our first harvest. I will say it's a little bit, I don't want to say discouraging. It tests my patience every year growing food in Vermont, because honestly, our gardening season doesn't really start till June. So while I'm here like waiting for these tomatoes to turn red, people are sharing like giant harvests on their Instagram and like preserving and everything. So we're definitely not there yet, but getting super duper close. And if you'd like to see some garden tours from previous years with the big beautiful harvest that I'm talking about, I'll link them here for you. All right, enough lollygagging. Let's get to today's craft. You're gonna need some kind of bowl, red paint, also white paint, which I have some left over from an old house project, some sticks or logs to use as the stem, and then to attach them, I'm going to be using glue and magnets, so that way it's easier to store because it's not permanently attached. But you also could just use any strong glue, staples, maybe even screws, whatever you have lying around. Figure it out. That's the whole point of crafting, right? You use what you have on hand, and this is what I had left over in my craft closet, so let's get to it. I just laid out all of the bowls on some newspaper so that way I wouldn't get this red spray paint everywhere, and then I just went at it. According to my wife, it is best to do little spurts of paint versus like hair spraying it, if you know what I mean. So I got those done, and while they dried, I attached the magnets to the logs using some of that super glue, and they stayed on pretty well. One of the logs was giving me some agita, but the rest of them went on immediately, no issues. And then once I was done attaching all those, I went back to the red spray painted bowls and I added all of the little white circles. Now I'm not gonna lie, these are not perfect circles. It'd be much better if I had one of those like circle sponges that you can get in craft kits. I don't know where mine went. So I freehanded all of these and made up my own little pattern, but from far away you would never tell that they aren't absolutely perfect circles. And then once those mushroom spots dried, I went through with a little bit of clear lacquer just to add a protective layer so the paint doesn't come off in the rain. So these guys have been painted, lacquered, and they need some dry time. So we're gonna pick this back up tomorrow and assemble them all and place them in the garden. And I guess I'll see you then. Good morning. Our mushroom tops are dry. So all we have to do is glue magnets into the tops of them and then connect them to our bases, which I need your help deciding. So we have wood bases. I guess both of them are technically wood. We have pine bases, like a nice brown color. Or I have some birch wood here. do for white or brown. I'm really not sure. So let me know down in the comments below. I'm gonna get to gluing these and then placing them in the garden. And then I also have a couple other cute things I want to place in the garden today. So let's get to crafting. So our grand total for this project was only $8, with the majority of that being the spray paint because the bowls were 25 cents each, and everything else I had in my craft closet or was able to find outside. All right, I've got my box of mushrooms, some tools to help me dig holes to get them into the garden, and I think I'm gonna do it in our big middle garden that's full of perennials, because right now in the season there's not much color towards the front. It's all hidden in the back. So I'm gonna put these towards the front, maybe on like either side of the pathway or near Minnie Mouse, but we'll see. I'm gonna be honest with you. The hardest part of this entire DIY was digging these holes. We have very rocky soil here in Vermont, so I recommend if you have one of those little augers that you could put onto a drill, or maybe making actual like spikes for them, it might make it a little easier. Oh my goodness, these came out so much better than I anticipated, and they were seriously like so easy to make. Just a little bit of painting and gluing. I'm obsessed with them. And actually, it was a really great idea to use magnets because they're not fully secured to the tops. So other than making storage really easy, they also kind of like wiggle in the wind. Like they have their own little dance and boogie going. So I love them. And we gotta figure out where we're gonna put these next two. So today's craft, which I don't really know if we could technically call it that because it's more so decorating, but I'm taking all of these cute little fairy village and gnomes and just adorable decorations from Dollar Tree, and I'm gonna put them around the base of this hydrangea tree that my wife just got me for my birthday and create a little fairy village. And then I also have some cute little impatiens, which are one of my favorite flowers because my grandmother used to grow them when I was a little kid, and the flowers turn into like seed pods that explode in the fall. So me and my sister would always like run up to the giant barrel she had of them, like waiting for the poppies to be ready. These aren't poppies. Those behind me actually are poppies, and they are from a Dollar Tree seed pack. So seeds from Dollar Tree do work. Anyways though, let's get decorating and on to today's craft. Now I know most of the DIYs in this video have been pretty easy, especially compared to the ones I shared in the fairy office video, which I will leave that linked here if you want to check it out. But this one was truly the simplest. Just placing the little fairy houses and the rocks wherever you wanted them to go, and then I planted a couple impatiens in front of it, and that was it. Super simple, but it added so much whimsy and charm to this little space out front. But if you're looking for more of a challenge, tomorrow I'm going to attempt to make my own fairy house using things that I find in my backyard. So cross your fingers and send me some good vibes that it comes out as cute as I'm imagining in my head. This is probably the craft I am most excited for and what inspired this whole video, making fairy houses. My wife got me this book probably about a year ago now, and the other day I was flipping through it and I was like, wow, this would actually be so fun to like forage on our property for materials and create a whimsical little home for a fairy. So that is what we're going to do today. I've never done this before, but I'm going to share some tips from the book as we do this. But right now, the first task it says is to find the perfect location. Location, location, location is everything. In real estate, apparently for fairies as well. So I'm gonna go hunt around for a spot and then we'll gather some supplies and see where this leads. So one of the locations I had in mind was this area back here. It was actually overrun with weeds when we bought the house, and we had no idea that like there was this little bench or all of these ferns. It was completely disappearing behind honeysuckles. But there's this pretty cool stump over here that I think would be really cute if I put a fairy house on top of. So that's option one. The other location I had in mind was underneath one of my favorite trees in the yard. I call her Sela the Cedar, but as you see, she has like some really good nooks in her branches that could be the perfect little fairy home. So those are the two options. I guess I'll go look for supplies now and kind of just see how it unfolds and where it looks best. Now for this craft, it's really hard to give you a supplies list or a total cost because a lot of it is just foraging for whatever you have in your area. So think branches, twigs, flowers, acorns, pine cones, rocks, whatever you can find outside. This is what you're going to use to craft your fairy house, plus a few extras. So this kind of feels like cheating, but I grabbed a couple things for my craft closet, like moss and twine. It's still all natural stuff. I forgot I had these little pieces of craft wood. I don't know, my dad randomly gave them to me, but I think this will make the perfect base for our house. And then we'll do like a little cedar roof somehow. You're getting the vision. We'll figure it out as we go. So here's a little look at all of the materials I found for my fairy house in my backyard, plus a couple extras like that twine, scissors, and eventually I caved and used hot glue. The reason I was originally trying to keep this all natural is because the book said if you wanted to keep it outside permanently, you can't use things like hot glue because it's not good for the environment. So I really tried my hardest to just use the things I found outside, but I was finding it so difficult. And after about an hour of playing around with this cedar and twine, trying to make a cute roof, I finally decided to use hot glue, make my life easy, and you'll see it came together so much faster. So if you are going the unnatural route like I eventually decided to do, to make a roof, all you have to do is cut a circle out of some cardstock and then a line halfway down the middle to turn it into a cone. Glue that together. I added some pieces of bark all around it for the shingles and then some moss in to fill in the gaps, and it came out so cute and so much faster than the cedar roof I was attempting to make at first. So like I said, we're gonna learn as we go, and I just learned that if it's your first time making a fairy house, don't be overly ambitious. Use the hot glue. This was so much easier. Maybe it took me like 10 minutes to put it all together, and then I just used some of this moss. I'm making a mess. Moss is messy. I use some of this moss to just like fill in the gaps. That is so cute. So now we have to make some windows and little accessories, but this is gonna go a hell of a lot faster than what I was trying to do before. Now to make your windows, all you have to do is cut 4 twigs to make the frame of your window, and then find some bark like this, glue them on top, and then I went the extra mile and added little curtains using some pieces of cedar that I harvested and some window panes using rope and hot glue. Honestly, this, again, the hot glue makes it so easy and it came out adorable. I also made a circle window by using the same process of the bark in the background, but instead I used a rope to make the frame on the outside and then sticks for the paints in the middle, and it came out really cute, just like this welcome mat. It was probably the easiest DIY for this fairy house, just a little rectangle piece of wood, a bit of hot glue, and a lot of moss, which I went back and trimmed up to make it look a little bit cleaner, and I think it was just the perfect little finishing touch. But then of course I thought of more things like making this wreath out of a piece of cedar, which I just cut the inside, I don't want to say fingers, fronds, I don't know, leaves I guess you would call them maybe. Added a touch of hot glue to one side, twirled it into a circle, and then I glued it to the front door. And then again, my creativity got the best of me and I continued making cute little things because I just couldn't stop, like this flower pot. So all I did was take a thin piece of bark, roll it up real tight, and then hot glue that to the mat and add in some dried flowers. And I think it was the perfect finishing touch that really brought this whole house together. I think we are done. It came out so cute, and I will say again, so much easier with hot glue. And I love that the roof is removable, so then again, if I ever want to store it, it comes apart, makes it super duper easy, but I think it's pretty cute. Have a little door, a big window in the back, another little window on the side, the wreath, the doorknob, it's just cute. Oh, and of course, a little welcome mat. So I'm gonna go figure out where I want to put this in the yard and then wait till my wife gets home to show her it and then bring it inside. Because like I said, I used hot glue and I don't want that breaking down out in nature and doing who knows what to the environment. But I'd say this was a pretty successful craft. Did you find it?
Oh, wow. Wow. Wow, wow, wow.
Notice the welcome mat with tiny flower
I do
pot.
notice it. I do notice it. I like how it's floating.
Yes.
I feel like you need a couple others and you could do like stairs leading
Oh,
up.
now you're thinking.
Yeah.
That'll
Maybe
be
some
your job
mushrooms,
tomorrow.
You know. That's good, buddy. Yeah, what's rent?
3 million.
Nice.
Acorns.
Good stuff.
And with that, I think we are done turning my backyard into a whimsical fairy forest. But honestly, there are so many other DIYs you could do to make your backyard feel a little bit more magical, and I saved them all to this Pinterest board that I will link down below. So definitely check that out if you're looking for some more inspiration. And also while you're down there, if you wouldn't mind giving this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, so that way I know to create more like it, and also subscribe so you don't miss future garden updates and a couple small business tips sprinkled in there. But if you'd like to keep hanging out with me right now, YouTube thinks that you would really like this video next.